We've had questions about the Phillies, and now we've got answers. Spring training kick-started with answers to many lingering questions for many of us around the Phillies fan base and us covering the team. Welcome to PHLY Phillies podcast. Tyler Zulli, Jamie Lynch, Renee Washington. We'll have our very own John Foley joining us live from down in Clearwater to give us an update on things in spring training. I see Chris Lemmer. Congratulations. Number one. First comment here in the books. You win the day, Chris. Will, Mickey, Dave, happy Thursday, everybody. Happy day 2. I feel like we should also start a countdown for how many days into spring training we're. Happy day. No?
No,
Okay.
I don't think we need that.
Happy day 2 of spring training, guys. 42 days into opening day. And the most exciting things, in my opinion, were that we got to see, hear, and it feels like we can now finally feel the essence of what the 2024 season is going to be for the Phillies, because between Rob Thompson and Zack Wheeler and different comments that have come out, things that John has been updating us on, a lot of answers that we got in the last 24 hours since we last joined you guys. So let's dive right into it, because we've got plenty to talk about today on this Thursday, and we've been doing a good job, if you've noticed, being around that hour mark, and today should be the same. All right, let's start things off. Now, we had Rob Thompson's press conference yesterday. John Foley did a great job recording it. If you missed it, you can watch it back on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, where he's sharing a lot of nuggets and information. He's talking about the lineup. He's talking about Zach, Yoro, Marsh. He's getting into the new faces, the new guys. I think the top things that jumped out at me that I took away from it, and we'll talk more specifically about Zach because he had some comments of his own, is that overall, the whole feeling around this group is, he was mentioning it feels like a college team, where everybody's coming in, they've got the high energy, they're excited, they're, looking forward to competing, they've got the chemistry, the continuity's there, and without having the WBC, that's a big part of this start of spring training, that the first day was just learning how much they've been working in the offseason and getting back to work and really easing in, that they really kind of want them at 75% in this first week, especially as pitches and catches have reported, before the rest of the team gets there, before they fully go full throttle, Jamie.
Yeah, Rob Thompson even said, this is one of the 3 weeks of the year that kind of makes me nervous, because, the intensity level goes up. They go from, soft tossing to hard tossing. And as they ramp up here in camp, he basically was like, just don't have any injuries this week. And I consider that a win. There's not a whole lot of positions up for grabs here. We'll get into some of the names in free agency and the latest rumors with all those. But I took away from it, he believes he has a really good baseball team. And after last year and losing Reese and having Ranger injured to start the year and having all those WBC guys affected by it, he just wants to have an easy first week of camp where nobody gets injured, and that would be a big success. So it appears that's what he was most nervous about, was just guys hurting their arms.
Yeah, and I liked what he was saying. He's always calm, cool, and collected, very mild-mannered. I know also in the chat you guys are mentioning our new setup here. Yes, we do have our very own logo.
How about a little thumbs up for that new logo?
Yes, because I'm glad you noticed. I wasn't going to say it. I had to wait till you guys pointed it out. And in the chat, I did see Will, as you were the first person I saw to make a comment about it. Of course, they're commenting on Jamie and your Starbucks.
It's not Starbucks. It's a small business today.
Oh, it's not Starbucks.
It's Mateen's. It's a little French bistro.
There you go, guys. Now he's supporting small businesses. That's a win.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. So it's not Starbucks, everybody. It's a small business that Jamie's supporting.
The girls were driving me crazy today. We were a little late out the door. Didn't get my coffee. Had to come right from school.
Yeah, one of those days.
Yeah.
But definitely don't drink too much.
I've done a good job. I think you would even give it to me.
I will give you credit, Jamie. I will. If we were doing a count up from how many times you've done well with making your own Starbucks, your own coffee. I know, it's impressive.
Pretty good.
And the fact that you have continued it into February, and instead of just dropping the ball 1 week into 2024, you're a totally different man this year. You know,
Yeah.
you've changed so much from last year. I'm
Totally.
very impressed. All right.
I don't even recognize myself.
I know. I don't recognize you, Jamie. Don't know who this guy is, guys. And thank you for the comments again on the PHLY words that we have here. You get to see our logo in 3D. All right. So as you mentioned, the health of the team has been something that Rob talked about. With that, he also was mentioning different guys. Ranger, he said, looked really good. He mentioned that Aaron Nola is just Aaron Nola. You know, he was asked about how Aaron Nola has come into things. He's like, listen, regardless how much Nola's being paid, he actually made a little comment, which I chuckled at too, that he was like, I was like, is this some personality that we're getting from Rob? He's like, Nola feels like $1 million. And like, haha, he gave a little laugh after. But he said, no, he's great, that Nola is someone, he never changes. He's always going to bring you the same Aaron Nola, regardless if it's spring training, playoffs, regardless how much he's being paid, regardless of situation. So Aaron Nola's come back in as the also mild-mannered Aaron Nola. And then some other quick things before we get into the biggest parts of what he was mentioning. He was talking about outside of the 5 starters, who else? He mentioned Colby Allard. He said Nick Nelson's looked very good. He said Buchanan, who we just got back, he mentioned has been able to bring that professionalism. He's smart. He knows how to pitch. He's got a decent arm. He's got experience. And Rob is saying he doesn't think he's going to scare easy. So positives there. And then even for Spencer, who we saw Spencer Turnbull's contract get officially done. Rob alluded to that in the press conference, mentioning Spencer should have his deal locked in today, and he did. As of yesterday, the Phillies did agree to terms on a contract. Jamie, this is exciting news. Ooh. On a contract for Spencer Turnbull. And to make room for Turnbull, they had to DFA McKinley Moore. So Spencer right now is sitting pretty locked in with a whole contract. Wow, guys, there's the exciting news. But no, the exciting news comes around. We'll start with Yoro and Brandon Marsh before we get to the biggest part, Zack Wheeler. So when asked about Yoro, a.k.a. Johan Rojas, I was a little disappointed I didn't hear any Yoro mentioned.
Yeah, no, it doesn't seem to be taken off.
I don't know what's happening, guys, because
I guess they didn't get the memo.
They forgot. There were a lot of times that it would have been seamless to just drop in Yoro instead of saying Johan or Rojas or Johan. Just Yoro it. But okay, it's fine. It's happening.
You're trying.
We're doing. So when asked about Johan Rojas specifically, he was asked about the pressure and if he feels like Johan Rojas is going to be able to deliver and the plan there offensively. And he was saying essentially at the end of the day, one, there's a lot of free agents out there. So if Johan Rojas isn't able to step up offensively, we'll tackle that when we get to it. But he said overall, Yoro's done a lot of work in the offseason in the weight room, and he's been working a lot with Kevin Long on his swing mechanics, his just ability to stay back instead of jumping at the ball and letting the ball travel to see it a bit longer and be able to react efficiently. And he said in terms of pressure, Jamie, Yoro went from AA to the big league, so he's not feeling like Yoro is going to have any pressure. And if anything, he's going to be motivated by this opportunity to lock in a starting spot for the Phillies.
Yeah, I think, it went well with him until it didn't. And he looked overmatched in the playoffs, but he stepped right up pretty seamlessly. I mean, his first game, he made like an incredible double play up against the wall in right center and I think got on base. So, I don't think he was scared by the moment, but I think playoffs are a different animal. It's good. Spin zone here. It's good that he got the experience out of the way, and that's over with. And hopefully he ascends to playoff Rojas this year and looks like a major league hitter because he was an automatic out. And I think that's why people are a little nervous about just giving him the job. But what I liked out of Rob Thompson was he didn't hide from it or say oh no, we have confidence and we have guys that can step up behind him. The question was, what are you going to do if Rojas doesn't hit? And he goes, there's a lot of good free agents out there.
Yep.
I like hearing that because I think that means they'll be aggressive if they have to be. I think they'll probably make, not that you're going to see a ton of Rojas in the next week. The full team doesn't even report to next week. But he is there. I saw him walk in the facility today with Stott and a couple others. But they know we're on the doorstep of contending, so I don't think they're going to let some spring training struggles stand in their way of potentially bringing in that vet or more consistent insurance policy. Yeah. So I liked hearing that answer from Rob. He didn't hide or skirt from it. He just said, yeah, we'll go get somebody.
Yeah, that answer was accountability. That was being realistic. That was understanding, like you mentioned, we're not going to be fluffy and give you all the softball answers of if he's not doing well, we're not even thinking about that.
Oh, we
no,
really
we're thinking
believe in
about
Christian
that.
Pache.
Yeah,
He was like, nah, we'll go
if
sign
he's not
somebody.
doing well, there's a lot of free agents out there. And essentially, if he can't get it done, we'll find somebody else that can get it done. So I like that from Rob.
If you're Pache, you're probably going, yeah, like, yo, Rob.
What about me?
What the F, man? I'm right here.
But I like it because you're putting the pressure on. This is a group that he was mentioning. There's not a lot of available spots for guys to win, but they are holding the bar high and holding the expectations there. Also, as you guys are trickling in, I see Brian, Dawn, Philly Insider. What's up, guys? Hit that thumbs up while you're here. Dave, you had a dream last night about Joe Buck.
Ooh.
Saying if only the Phillies signed Bellinger, they would have pulled this 2024 World Series out. That sounds like more of a nightmare than a dream. But, you know, you could have kept that to yourself. That's an interesting, very, very interesting dream that you've had. And then also Philly Insider is saying, Rojas, you like Rojas a lot. Pitch recognition and plate discipline is just going to take time. Need to get him those game reps. And yeah, I think as you mentioned, Jamie, him having a chance last year to kind of get the jitters out and work through a half a season. Now you get a full season, you get a spring training. That should definitely look different for him. What also looks different, Brandon Marsh. Now, as we know, we randomly heard Brandon Marsh had his procedure as he had to get some things cleaned up in his knee. And Rob Thompson was saying that Brandon Marsh has done well. Of course, the procedure went well, but he's been on a machine that's allowing him to take the weight off of him so he can walk, and also still on the same timeline. So encouraging there that after having his procedure, he will be game ready in 3 to 4 weeks. He's been walking. He was walking almost immediately after the cleanup, and the procedure was overall helpful for Brandon Marsh. So as talking about the health of the team, starting spring training, Brandon Marsh was that small question mark we had, but as of now, he's on pace to get back. All right, now the most important piece that you were all very interested in before we get into the interesting, funny comment I'll let you, Jamie, talk about after Wheeler, is when asked about Zack Wheeler's extension. Now, many of us, as we've talked about on the show, and I'm sure as you guys have all talked about, feel as though the extension has been the priority, being that the Phillies haven't made any major moves. Rob did say he actually likes the moves they've been making, the depth, the pieces that they've added around the edges. He feels good about it. He feels confident about it. I was like, okay, Rob, yep, that sounds great and all. But when asked about Zack Wheeler, he was mentioning how, he doesn't focus too much on it. His job is to focus on Zack Wheeler, the pitcher, not the negotiations and the contract and everything around it. And that Zack is just such a big part of the organization and ball club that everybody loves him there. And that, he doesn't think it's going to affect him. Now, when Zack Wheeler was asked about everything, he also mentioned that he and the team are in contract negotiations regarding an extension. There's a positive. And then also, hopefully the deal does happen. He loves it here. He's happy here. And as we know, Wheeler will make $23.5 million this season in the final year of his contract. He's been speculated to that number to go up to about $40 million if the contract extension does happen. So for Wheeler, some positives there that the contract negotiations are happening. And he, of course, most importantly, loves to hear and wants to be here, Jamie.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have Mrs. Zack Wheeler to thank for, a lot of his love of the Philadelphia area, being from Central Jersey and, having a third kid on the way and having his wife's family around as somebody with young children. I can tell you that having grandparent assistance is literally invaluable. So I think that's beneficial here. It's one of those things when you hear, well, a guy wants to go back home, and Rhys Hoskins wants to go to San Diego because he's family there. Seattle's hopeful they can get Blake Snell because he's from up that way, or whatever it is. Like that stuff does matter, and not always does the price tag get it done. But it's great to hear Zack Wheeler say, "I want to be here." I think it's unavoidable now. Buster Olney has said, like, it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. Yeah. Wheeler himself, Dombrowski. So now it's just the negotiation game. And I think it was Howard Eskin out of Clearwater today said he's heard that Wheeler is looking for north of $40 million. Yeah. So he's pretty much going to be looking, I would think, for that Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander type of deal where you get like 42, 43 million over a short term 3-4 year deal type of thing. And Zack Wheeler's now what, 35? I think he's going to be this year.
33,
34, maybe. I think he's going to turn 34 this year.
Yeah, he's
so you don't want to go that long with him. You want that short term deal. And to get those short-term deals, you have to go higher AAV. So, if that's the price of doing business, Zack Wheeler is undoubtedly one of the best pitchers in the game. He's shown you in the history of the game with playoff baseball, I think it's minimum of, I forget the innings pitched, whatever the criteria is. He's one of the best in the history of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Pay the man his money.
Yeah.
Like, end of story. Just get it done. Even if you negotiate and save yourself, say $2 million a year over 3 or 4 years, you're talking about $8 million. Just sign the guy.
Exactly.
It's that easy. So it'll get done. It appears, and I think that's the good part of what came out of yesterday. Zack Wheeler didn't hide from it. He just said, "Yeah, my direct deposit. Hit it up."
Yep. Chris Miller, Hypothetical Man, Dave P,
Chris
Randy.
Miller, it's been a while.
Guys.
What's
yeah,
up?
Definitely been some time. Pitchers and catchers are there. Also, the small camp across the street is there. And so Rob mentioned there are jobs available. The first goal is to stay healthy. Of course, then there are some bullpen jobs still available. They're looking to see what happens on the pike. And depending on the future, the reason why they intentionally brought in a smaller camp this year is because there is the mini camp right across the street where they could pull extra players from. And there's a lot of free agents. And so, Rob did say we're not talking about the big names, but there are some relievers and starters available. It's weirder than most years. And there's a lot of flux signings and, DFAs happening. So the thought process for the Phillies was to go in small instead of having 65 guys that you're bringing into spring training, go in small, and then you can always add and build. But Jamie, put your Rob hat on, because this is a comment that I know I'm going to let you read and talk about, because when I heard this, I was like, I know Jamie's inner high school boy is somewhere chuckling at this. Rob, what feels different this year than last year?
I think Rob would probably want to rephrase this and take this one back a little bit. Renee, I guess you know me pretty well that I absolutely chuckled at this as I read it on Twitter yesterday. The quote was, "They are motivated. We've had 2 years of tasting it. They want it. They want to take a big chunk of it and swallow it." I think there's other ways to say they really want to win a World Series. If I had my guess, Rob would probably want to do a take two on that comment. Or maybe I'm just perpetually 11 years old in my head. It's one of the two. I have a feeling it's more the Rob would want that one back. But, if I'm perpetually 11, Renee, it wouldn't be the first time in life somebody's told me that.
Yeah, I heard that and I was like, oh, and then it just kept getting worse. He was, it was a really good question, because this is the same core group this year as last year. And the question of what's been different about this start of spring training versus last year. And he was started off with a bunch of guys are in there motivated. I was like, oh, great start. Very talented. Oh, great start. 2 years of tasting it. And then it just
that's fine if you just end it right there.
It could have stopped there.
That's
but then it got worse. Chunks and swallowing and eating things. And I was like, what is happening here?
Yeah.
And he said it all with a straight face, because that's Rob Thompson for you.
Well, because he's not 11 years old. I guess he's an adult and can say things like that and not chuckle.
Apparently.
I cannot.
And I literally was like, oh, there's some people, Jamie, out there that are definitely laughing at this. So, yeah, it's been interesting.
There's a lot of us children out there.
Very interesting, Dan. Guys, yeah, very interesting. But it's been a good start for spring training, and it has me very excited for us to get down there, because as you know, we'll be down there ourselves. Look, we got the spring training banner on the bottom of our screen.
Feels warm.
We want you to feel the palm trees and the warm weather and the heat on your skin and all the greatness of being down in Clearwater. And we're off to Clearwater ourselves. That's right. With Philly Sports Trips, we're going to be having our first PHLY Spring Training Takeover. The chance to hang with Phillies legend Charlie Manuel, who we've been seeing some snippets of down in Clearwater. The chance to also have fun watching the Phillies play, spending St. Patrick's Day on a booze cruise. Yes, a private yacht with a catered dinner and drinks. What a great way to spend St. Patrick's Day. And then also just an opportunity for us to be able to hang, enjoy the warmth. Everything is planned. So Philly Sports Trips does a fantastic job of giving you a full experience and planning it for you, alleviating the stress. From flights and hotels to game tickets and transportation, to food and drinks. It's all there for you. So you can head on over to our website at allphly.com/events to learn more and book your trip, because we'll be down there March 13th to March 18th. That's right. March 13th to the 18th, watching some baseball, listening to the sound of the bats cracking and the gloves and the spikes on the concrete, all the great sounds that we love to hear. Tyler, I did that one just for you. I know how much you love that sound.
Would you like me to make the sound again myself?
So join us March 13th to the 18th as myself and these two 11-year-old boys that are sometimes
Tyler's definitely more mature than I am.
I think you're like 11 and 15.
I would say I'm more closer to like the 17, 18
you're
maturity
15,
range.
but okay, 17 solid. 11 and 17-year-old are joining me for the PHLY spring training trip, guys. See you there.
Yeah, and if you find yourself down in Florida and want to go to some other games and find yourself in the market for tickets, say to a Blue Jays game in Dunedin, or you want to travel around to Port St. Lucie. It's Dunedin. If you want to head over to Port St. Lucie and catch a Mets game and you need tickets, well, use the Game Time app, because the Game Time app is awesome. And use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. I've used Game Time now a couple times to go see a comedy show in town, a concert with my wife. It's got all the tickets you need to all your favorite sporting events, theater, comedy, concerts, whatever you are looking for, because buying tickets to your favorite events should not be stressful. Game Time is the fast and easy way to buy tickets to all the events near you. And they have killer deals on last-minute tickets. With their best price guarantee, you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for all the fun you're going to have. Flash deals, easy to find and buy tickets, image over your seat views, a lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, job loss protection. Basically, Game Time has your back to make sure you have a great experience. Tickets always make a great gift for the people in your life. So snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code PHLY for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. So again, just create an account and redeem code PHLY for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
All right. Jamie, are you bringing the Shoeless Joe down to Clearwater?
Probably not. Probably more golf clubs than baseball glove.
Okay.
We'll see.
Shoeless Jamie's coming to Clearwater.
Yeah, Shoeless Jamie will be thriving in Clearwater. Flip-flops all week. I do not plan on putting shoes on at all. Interviewing players, managers.
They're going to get these toes?
Oh, they're getting them toes. They're getting those toes. It's Florida, man.
Jamie's been wearing sneakers a lot lately. I don't know what's happening.
Past 2 days, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who you are. You like you mentioned, you're a changed person. And socks and sneakers. I don't even. Are you a sockless sneaker person?
If it didn't stink the sneakers up, I would be.
Ew.
But it really stinks the sneakers.
There's only
up,
one right answer, and that's never. Like, you
Oh.
always have to wear socks with sneakers.
That's not true.
Unless I have for
my
women, we
yard
have
shoes I don't wear socks with. But I keep those down in the garage.
Yeah. For women,
And they're
we
not
have
Nike Air
the small,
Dads. They're more
the
like
small
old.
sneakers, like not my Nikes that I'm wearing today, because I am also in sneakers. But we have like little slip-on sneakers. You don't wear socks with those, but like you wouldn't. You have to wear socks.
My
with
yard
those.
shoes have gone socksless for 8 or 9 years.
Okay, but yeah, I feel like around the yard's different. I always walk around the yard even just barefoot. Like you don't need to follow any rules there.
Yeah,
it's your yard.
But my emo shoes, like the van looking ones, the black ones with the white soles, those type of shoes.
The California standard issue sneaker that everybody has out there. Yes,
you don't wear.
Amazing.
You don't wear.
You go to California and it's just Vans.
You don't wear socks with those.
That's a good. Yeah, Vans are a good point. Like Vans, or I know I see in the chat Sperry's, like those types of shoes. You don't wear socks.
I don't.
With those.
I'm not into the boat shoes.
I like a good boat shoe.
I don't think I like them, but I don't. My feet sweat in them, and I don't like.
Okay.
There's no ventilation. Like they're too hot for my bare feet.
Okay. So, I get that.
Just go flip flops,
it's
and you don't have to worry
guys.
about it.
It's almost time to
Me
be
and Jason
sockless.
Kelsey, we're like this with the flip flop.
No, literally, you are Jason Kelsey, because I could see you
I'm the hairless
similarities.
Jason Kelsey. That's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me.
I was watching Jason walking in the flip flops. I'm like, wow, Jamie, is that you?
Yeah.
Basically the same person, All right, so there are a couple other things that came out around the Phillies, and then we'll move on to some updates around possible future Phillies. That's right. So first things first, let's just get this out the way. Jeff Hoffman wanted to be known. This is a different Jeff Hoffman. Yesterday's number is not today's number. Jeff Hoffman will not be rocking number 68. Over the years in his career, he's had various numbers between youth, high school, college, playing professionally, number 34. Of course, with the Phillies, he was 68. His social media handle, Jeff Hoffman 23, is the number that we're getting back. He's rocking Cincinnati Reds number 23. He also was 23 in the CCBL years ago with the Hawks and the Bison and all the different teams he's played with. So I looked at this and I was like, you know what? I don't take this as us getting Reds Jeff Hoffman in 2024. I take this as us getting 2023 Hoffman with 23, but also embracing his inner GOAT in LeBron.
Did you just say that to trigger me?
No, LeBron is my GOAT. And I knew I didn't
23 is not LeBron.
23 is LeBron. That's literally his number. And he's the GOAT. And it could also be Michael Jordan.
I hope you're trolling me.
I'm not trolling you. I've had this debate several times.
He
LeBron
is not
James
23.
is my GOAT. Yes, he is.
He's not 23.
He's literally number 23.
There's one 23.
No,
there's just one.
That number has been worn by many people.
Wait,
2 of them are GOATs.
LeBron wears 6.
He's worn all sorts of numbers.
I know he's worn 23, but he currently wears
There's
6.
one 23 in sports. One.
Okay.
The greatest of all time. Jump in. Michael Jordan. There's no other 23.
King James.
No. Erroneous. Throw it out. I don't want to see you go down this path on the internet.
I've already fought this fight many, many times because LeBron James, in my opinion, is the greatest of all time for basketball.
I think there's an argument to be made for that, and that's a different story. But we're talking about 23.
I know.
It's Michael Jordan, the greatest.
It's LeBron. So he's embracing his inner LeBron.
I'm just going to pretend you're not saying the words that you're saying, and we're just going to move on to the problem.
It's funny because, and we'll move on because we have a lot to get into. So in our note sheet, and I saw you put this. Yeah. I saw you put MJ in there, and I was like, LeBron. And I literally took to my own notes.
Oh my
LeBron
God.
James. So I had to say that because you were ready to tee up a Michael Jordan comment. I'm ready to tee up a LeBron comment.
Short-term memory loss. That past 2 minutes didn't happen. Here's my problem with Jeff Hoffman switching to 23. Whenever I see somebody take the number 23, I go, you better be good. I don't care what the sport is. It's just that number where if you put on 2-3 on your back, you better be effing good. I see Tyler shaking his head. This is my thought kind of when I see Jordan golf shoes. If you're on the golf course, and I have a buddy who's not good enough to be wearing Jordans, when I see somebody like you, if it's a random that gets paired up with you and you see him walk up with Jordans on, you go, this guy better be fucking good. Because there's a certain swag about having 23. There's a swag about wearing Jordan golf shoes. Like, you got to bring it. And if I see you step up and slice one into the woods on your first shot, I go, you shouldn't be wearing Jordans. When you wear Jordan at a competitive level, you have to be good. And when you wear number 23, you have to be good. So Jeff Hoffman, you better be good this year because that's a big number you just put on your back.
Yeah, because the greatest have all worn that number.
Don't do it. We've already moved on. We're talking about Jeff Hoffman.
The greatest players rock 23. That's what it be. Listen, in the chat, I'm getting some interesting responses. Listen, the whole GOAT conversation we could easily go off the rails with because Bill, LeBron,
MJ
Michael,
overrated. Dave
there's so many people
Watch
that you could consider in that conversation. But I'm just saying that, okay, Michael Jordan obviously made number 23. But I'm just saying the GOAT that
LeBron is not associated with 23 at all. End of story.
He's just rocking the GOAT's number, LeBron. So I love you all. I love you all. If I'm not here tomorrow, this is why. Breaking news: Renee Washington has been removed from
Jeff Hoffman.
What Jamie we've come to the conclusion is every player in Phillies history that's wore the number 23 does not deserve the number 23.
Basically.
This list is trash.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I will say.
No, it's not even like, oh, wow, he was good, but he's not a superstar. This list
Nobody
sucks.
should touch it unless you're good.
There are numbers in sports, in all seriousness, because you guys will always disagree on who's the GOAT in basketball. But when it comes to numbers, there are certain numbers for individual sports you don't wear. I see in the chat, somebody mentioned like number 99 in hockey. Yeah, like you don't touch certain jerseys.
Unless you're Paulina who gets it tattooed on her groin area.
99's retired, though. You can't wear 99.
Is it retired across the league?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that across the league.
I'm a Zamboner, Tyler. Sometimes we miss these things.
But there are certain numbers. It's like, I know in soccer, technically number 10 is still out there. But if you're going to wear number 10,
well, you can't
have
because
to
soccer because
right,
of the
but
position.
you have to be the number 10. Like, there are certain numbers for every sport.
Well, that's
if you're
what I
going
think
to wear that number.
MJ did that across all sports to me. It's
I
not
that.
just basketball. It's number 23. If you rock it in football, not that many people do, you got to be good. If you wear it in baseball, you got to be good. And I feel like nobody respects my personal belief that nobody else feels.
Okay. It's okay because they don't respect that. And I just lost a lot of friends in the chat. So it's fine, guys, because it's not the first time that I've been
Jeff
on this
Hoffman,
hill myself.
Pressure's on, buddy.
Basically, that's all that I'm trying to say is the greatest of the greats have worn number 23. And if Jeff Hoffman's going to rock 23, be ready to back that thing up.
Yeah. Well, not that way. Just be good on the baseball field. I don't need to see you twerking out of the bullpen.
I was more hinting at the song, but
you know how like
that
JoJo
too.
Romero used to smash the Red Bull can? Maybe Jeff Hoffman just does like a twerk
If you're
down the
going to wear
steps.
23, you better back that thing up.
Yeah. I don't think anybody really wants to see that. But just be good, please. If you're going to wear 23. Tyler, do you have the list of 23s in front of you?
I did. I can get it for you real quick.
I'm curious how bad it is now.
By the way, somebody said in the chat, hypothetical man said Bobby Abreu. He wore 53.
Yes.
He wore 23, I think, with the Dodgers at one point, but he was 53 with
number
the
3
Phillies.
in while you're looking up that list, though, number 3 in Philadelphia is that number 2, Dan. It's definitely getting that point. For any team in Philly, if you're going to wear number 3, you've got to be ready to be Bryce Harper level number 3, Allen Iverson level 3.
And Chris Miller says Jordan wore 45 when he came back in the midseason because they didn't have the 23 ready. There was some weird loophole.
All right, I'm going to give you the players that wore 23 since LeBron James entered the NBA.
Okay.
We'll start in 2003. Travis Chapman.
Who?
Sean Wooten.
Oh, I remember Sean
Ryan
Wooten.
Franklin. How about this connection, Renee?
no.
Joe Thurston wore 23.
Who was my guest for yesterday? Guess that's
Adam Eaton, Paul Bacco, Brian Schneider, Aaron Altair, Jay Bruce. I know we all remember Kyle Garlick, Archie Bradley, Corey Knebel, and most recently, Cody Clemens.
I feel like maybe we shouldn't have read this list because now it makes me very nervous.
Archie Bradley was okay.
Maybe Jeff is going to change the trajectory of number 23.
Just saying, you got to bring your A game when you wear the 2-3.
He's just out there to right the wrongs is basically what's happening. All right. Before we have John joining us in about 10 minutes from Clearwater, if you haven't checked out all the great things John's been doing on Twitter, he's been posting out lots of videos, lots of updates, behind the scenes things that he's giving you insight into. So some other things on the Phillies market specifically, Matt Gelb did say that the Phillies remain open, according to team sources, to short-term deals with unsigned free agents, but it's difficult to imagine certain markets collapsing to the point where the Phillies are major bidders. So speculating on the future Phillies that we could see brought in. Now, of course, we've talked about Jordan Montgomery. We talked about Whit Merrifield. We've talked about various names that are still out there. But as of recently, as of like an hour ago, Whit Merrifield specifically is allegedly getting closer to signing with a team. Now, which team will that be? We don't know. There's been about 4 or 5 teams that's names that were in the mix. But moving closer to a decision, expected to sign by the end of the weekend, John Morosi reported. So Whit Merrifield, by the end of the weekend, are we getting news that he's going to be a Philly?
Yeah, it could be as early as today. You know, Liam Hendricks and Whit Merrifield said maybe Thursday. Hendricks is today. Merrifield is more, by Saturday. Up to 5 teams being interested. Now what this boils down to is, are other teams able to offer full-time starting positions? Because the Phillies can't really offer that per se, but I would imagine because of his versatility, they can probably average, that 3 to 4 starts a week. Plus, if somebody gets injured, he's, prime candidate to take it over. So I think they can make a competitive offer to him. As we talked about yesterday, his market value is about $6.4 million,
Right.
according to some websites. I think his versatility makes that a worthy investment because he kind of covers your bases as injury insurance at center field, left field, second base, third base, in a real bind. Probably you don't want him playing short, but at first base. So
Right.
more than half of your defensive positions, it's an insurance policy. It's a $6.5 million insurance policy. I think it makes a lot of sense for them. But then again, there's the Jordan Montgomery thing.
Right.
And if they're interested in Jordan Montgomery, that probably means they won't be getting that type of guy.
Yeah. So part of the holdup for the outfield piece specifically has been exactly as you just mentioned, Jamie, that the Phillies aren't looking to bring in an outfielder that will be an everyday starter.
No.
The hope is it will be Nick, Yoro, Marsh, and that you'll have a center fielder or somebody that's getting, in the course of a week, a start here, 1 to 2 starts, possibly 3. So that's made it difficult because there are free agents such as a Whit Merrifield that are probably looking to be either an everyday starter or just more starts than 2 to 3 per week. So for Whit Merrifield as a utility piece, with him having that flexibility, which we talked about yesterday on the show, which you just mentioned, does give him extra value because maybe it's not, just having one role, but maybe his role varies day to day, week to week, depending on what's happening with injuries or what's needed strategically. I like Whit Merrifield, for his age, the fact he can give you solid at-bats and just makes contact, his strikeout rate, decent, and then overall the utility piece on the fielding side. But as you mentioned, Jordan Montgomery's name is still out there. Now, there have been reports, I know I saw from others, from various people, that Jordan Montgomery and the Rangers seem to be moving further and further apart.
Chris Young yesterday at their press conference said, don't expect us to bring back or sign anything of substance or marquee name-wise. So I guess Jordan Montgomery got the door closed on him in Texas, and that just is nothing but good news for the Phillies.
Right, and as Chris Young was mentioning, the Rangers do have the highest payroll in their club history, and they already have exceeded the luxury tax threshold for a second straight season. So they're trying to cut back financially. They're also not looking to spend. Jordan Montgomery's price point has been the issue for teams, definitely with the Rangers. Of course, they were still waiting for the details of their TV deal that finally got resolved, but is not great either. From what I've heard now, the Rangers being out doesn't make the Phillies an automatic shoo-in, but the Phillies do have interest, as Todd Zulli was reporting on Jordan Montgomery for only like a 1 to 2 year deal. Other teams have been, such as like the Red Sox, but I don't know what the Red Sox are doing because now apparently they're open to a Kenley Jansen trade, but reluctant to pay any of his salary. There's a lot going on up in Boston. Who knows what's happening up in Boston? And there's been some other teams like the Giants and the Angels, I believe, were a team that were tied with Montgomery. Either way, the Phillies, baseball-wise, make absolutely the most sense. If you're Jordan Montgomery, you're coming off of winning a title, you want to get back to the World Series. You're not doing that with the Red Sox.
Well, this is where it boils down to. Is winning addictive, and do you want to, cost yourself some money to go win, or do you want just the largest salary?
Exactly.
Because if he goes to the Angels or Giants, we know he's not winning any titles there. So he would probably be following the bag, as the kids say. Whereas if you come to Philadelphia, maybe you don't get as much as those more desperate teams are willing to offer, but you get, let's say they give him a 1 year, $33 million offer.
Mm-hmm.
You have a pretty damn good shot to win a World Series. So I think you'll find out a little bit about Jordan Montgomery here with this decision. Alex Spirer, excuse me if I got that name wrong, Boston Globe baseball reporter, speculated that Montgomery is kind of finding the market collapsing on him.
Yeah.
And they're kind of gearing up to take a short-term deal. Todd Zulli says the Phillies have interest in a short-term deal. It does seem like there's kind of a lot of smoke here with Jordan Montgomery. And if this becomes the late market collapse to you signing that the Phillies are able to pull off, I think people are going to get pretty irrational because you're already one of the best rotations in baseball, if not the best. I think Fangraphs had him number 1. If you add this to that and make Christopher Sanchez or Taijuan Walker your 6th starter, then it just bumps everybody down. You have insurance protection. You don't have to stress the guys out that much in April, May, and June. You can kind of take it easy on them. You don't have to, there's not as much pressure to go late in the games. There's so many benefits of strengthening your rotation like that. I'm starting to really kind of like low-key bang on the table a little bit here. Like, just go pay the man and get it done, and let's get irrational.
I like it. I like it. So to clarify, the team, it wasn't the Angels. That was Blake Snell that was connected to the Angels. It was the Red Sox, Cubs, Giants, and Yankees that have been teams that have been connected to Jordan Montgomery, and of course the Phillies as well. But either way, don't want to see him with the Yankees.
Apparently are favorites for Snell, according to most. So if that's the case, then he's gone. And then the Red Sox, like, you know, they're listening to Kenley Jansen offers. So, like,
the Red Sox are doing a whole lot of nothing.
Are they going to do it? It's kind of dwindling down to the Phillies. I think have a lot of life in this.
I think when you look at this group, and we're not in every conversation, the Phillies do make the most sense. And as you mentioned, the market is dropping for Montgomery, but for everybody that's a free agent right now, the roof is caving in, and you want to take the best deal possible. Now, as you mentioned, it does come down to, and I like that you just smoothly used the bag. Look at you, Jamie. Would you rather go after the bag, or would you rather go after, you know, less money and you might be a World Series contender?
I'll be honest. If I already got a World Series ring, I'm probably looking to get the bag.
He's 31 years old. He's already won. You know, he's already, for that reason alone, it takes the pressure off.
I've won. Give me my money.
Okay.
I would probably chase the bag a little bit. Yeah.
Interesting.
I mean, if you have a chance to set up like your grandkids for life. And you've already won.
I
don't want to say you're not competitive, but I mean, if somebody's giving me $10 million more than the other team,
that's the thing.
Is a chance to win a World Series worth $10 million? Because it's still just a chance.
And that's the thing. There's no guarantee you're winning the World Series.
Now, give me the money.
There is a guarantee you're getting that money.
Yeah.
And honestly, it seems like what the Phillies would be able to offer is more around that $25 million. And Jordan Montgomery's been around $30 million, as reports have indicated. So if you're going for the bag, it wouldn't be the Phillies. But we'll see what happens, because definitely, as Chris Young is mentioning, with the Rangers being out of it, and then the Red Sox just being a whole lot of mess and chaos going on around whatever's happening with Kenley Jansen and trade talks and everything else, the Phillies are still sitting there waiting, sitting pretty. All right, you know who else is sitting, waiting? Our very own John Foley. I know MBDBDBF, Mickey, Dan, the Hypothetical Man, Dave, you all have been waiting eagerly to see the updates from Clearwater.
It's Foley's music.
It's John Foley, and it's not as sunny today down in Clearwater. Your day's looking a little bit more like ours. We are having some issues here with the audio for John. We'll get him squared away in a second. But John is giving us a live look in. I know in the chat I saw some people mentioning earlier how he's been doing a good job of just sharing insight, and he has. If you haven't, check out our Twitter at PHLY_Phillies. Also on our YouTube channel of PHLY Sports. We're dropping full videos there as well, that you are able to see press conferences, behind the scenes bullpen sessions. He's been there just as much as he landed when the pitchers and catchers got there, guys. He was down there day one on the 13th.
And he's got his write-up on the website on allphly.com.
Yes.
Observations from day one. It was great to see. There we go. What's up, John?
Oh, and it looks like it got sunnier since you fixed it.
Yeah, it's been a little cloudy here, but there's enough sun that I still got to wear my State Trooper glasses. I know they were popular yesterday, so.
State Trooper John Foley reporting for duty.
Yes, sir.
Well, John, you've been doing a great job with your coverage in the start of day one for spring training. You know, the press conferences, the conversations that you were a part of. You know, can you give us an update as we're now into day two? Because I am, keeping track of spring training, of what you've seen so far in day two.
So day two, the formal program is like day one. The pitchers, they make their way from they do their sort of lighter throwing and stretching. They make their way to the bullpen area that we looked at yesterday, the 7-back. And then following that, the pitchers in that particular group will make their way over here. I don't know if you can see it behind me, where they work on pickoff moves. And then after that, some strength training, and they pretty much call it a day. early in the afternoon. 3-4 different groups of 3 pitchers each, sort of making their way through those rounds. I would say the biggest difference between day 2 and day 1 is just that there are more folks around. You may have seen Charlie Manuel's here. A lot more broadcasters have showed up, writers. So it feels like a lot more activity, but as far as the formal regimen that the pitchers and catchers are going through, same as yesterday. I'm not sure if that will change much until the full squad workouts start Monday. So it'll switch up then.
Yeah, John, one of the observations we all had immediately yesterday from your bullpen footage was the starting pitchers were wearing their game jerseys, not the spring training jerseys. Now, apparently there's been an MLB Players Association complaint filed because for those that don't know, Nike and Fanatics are responsible for the jerseys this year, and Nike across a lot of their sports, football and I believe hockey as well, are going to this new vapor technology. Let's not sugarcoat it. It's probably a cheaper way for them to produce jerseys, and they can charge more at market cost. But the players, I know some Guardians players were complaining about the fit and that they felt weird. Do you know, is that possibly a reason why they were wearing them yesterday? Because that did jump out as strange.
Yeah, it is strange, and you've definitely seen a lot of grumbling around the league about these new jerseys. I want to make it clear that it's, as much as we all like to hate on Fanatics, this really seems to be more of a Nike issue in that while Fanatics is actually manufacturing the jerseys, they're just really a sort of subcontractor to Nike, and they have to do things exactly to Nike specifications. So if we want to be mad at someone, it should be Nike. You know, they touted the new jerseys as more breathable and more moisture wicking. All that may or may not be true, but fans and players alike seem unhappy.
Yeah, I feel like they got George Costanza over at Nike running the show.
Yeah, it's they're not great. So I don't know how much of a thing this is going to become, whether there's such unhappiness or formal ways to go about changing the jerseys back. It seems a little late in the game. I would imagine we're stuck with them at least for one season, but we'll see what happens. But definitely a topic of conversation around here.
Yes, exactly. The jerseys are not great. But John, your coverage has been great. So we appreciate all that you've been doing. We know you just dropped an article as well that people can check out on our website at allphly.com. John, we'll let you go. We know you have plenty to get back to. The sun is shining down there. It looks like it's peeking out a little bit. We see lots of great activity in the background. So keep up all the fantastic work, and we'll be checking in with you again hopefully tomorrow.
Sounds good. Talk soon.
See you, John. All right. You could hear a little bit of the wind whipping, too. It sounded like today was a lot windier.
Thoughts and prayers
good
to
old
everybody
Florida.
in Florida.
Gosh, sorry, guys. You had windy weather and a slight overcast. I feel like a meteorologist myself.
Yeah, the jersey thing's weird, but it is something. Like, apparently it's gone before the Players Association. A lot of players have said that they look cheap. They feel weird. On Sunday before the Super Bowl, I actually met my buddy at a local dive bar for a quick beer. And he was like, oh, I won this new Eagles jersey at work for some league they did or something. He's like, it's this new vapor technology jersey. And he goes, honestly, it feels really weird.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't like it. And he just brought that up randomly.
That's
and I was
so
like,
interesting.
That's weird. And then Monday, you see all these pictures around baseball saying the fit in the shoulder and the back area is different. And, it's... I think it's too late for this year, but the fact it's already in front of the Players Association is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I know people are dragging Fanatics, Nike,
It is
uniforms.
more Nike. Yeah.
It is. Listen, me and Michael Rubin go all the way back to a whole hug. I think he thought I was somebody else, but we shared a hug. And in that moment, I should have told him, get these jerseys in order.
Michael Rubin?
Yeah. Mr. Fanatics. I know. He hugged me, guys. He hugged me. That's all I got to say positive about the Fanatics. But I will say Angels outfielder Taylor Ward actually was quoted saying how it looks like a replica. it feels kind of like papery is the term that he said. And he said it could be great when you're out there sweating. It may be breathable, but I haven't had that opportunity yet to try it out. But from the looks of it, it doesn't look like a $450 jersey. And they don't. For the Phillies specifically, the biggest difference is that you can notice is the font is smaller.
Smaller, yeah.
And so like the back of the jerseys with their numbers, as you could see various pictures from yesterday, it's just a lot smaller. But as you mentioned, the actual feel of the jerseys is different. You know, for players, when you are out there playing and you're sweating and you've got all these other things going on, you want every once in a while, because I remember Under Armour had the same issue back when I was playing, where they rolled out these like new versions of jerseys, and you know, we were sponsored by Under Armour at the time, and it was the same thing. Like those first waves of new material and everything typically takes a learning curve. So I hope that they can get this straightened out this season, because it'd be a shame to have these players go through this for the entire season. Obviously, they're not wearing the same jersey every game, but you know, if you have one specific jersey that you hate and now you're dreading it, it's just one thing on your mind that you shouldn't have to think about. And plus, you're professional athletes. They should be able to afford to pay for jerseys that are going to feel good and make you feel good when you're playing. So
yeah, I don't know how much the
what's
teams
happening.
have say in it.
Yeah, I don't either.
That's the teams might be complaining on behalf of the players and saying, "Yeah, our players are miserable in these. Can you look into this?" So,
as they should.
You know, I don't think anything is going to happen this year, but maybe it gets tweaked for the future. We'll see.
We will see. Lots to keep an eye on. All right, so we are going to get into our rankings of left fielders tomorrow. We've already had a chance to rank our top 5 right fielders and center fielders on our previous episodes for this week. So Monday we did right fielders. Yesterday for Wednesday, we did center fielders, and then tomorrow we will get into left fielders. So if you haven't had a chance to go check those out, you can, and let us know who you rank in your top 5. Of course, we have to get to Guess That Swing. Apparently, we have to get there. But first, just really quickly, I know Todd Zulli put out a piece with his opening day roster best guesses that I just want to run through. Now, he was saying, much as we've been saying, why not? Spring training is here. It's never too early to start thinking about opening day. As we know, it is just 42 days away, according to our countdown. Jamie,
Jackie Robinson.
Your phone has you on the 42-day countdown as well.
I added everything to the countdown the other day.
You're a countdown guy.
Family vacation, a concert I'm going to, Clearwater I put on there. Yeah, it's
totally different person.
It's good to look ahead. You know,
it's nice when you use technology, Jamie.
Yeah.
If only now you would use your
27 days till Clearwater
on your phone.
No, I'm not going to do that. That's crazy. But we're going to Clearwater in 27 days, Tyler. Right?
Wow. Yeah. I didn't know that.
I'm going to the Outer Banks in 149 days. Going to Phillies Cubs.
Color coordinated. Did you do that?
I think it just gave me the colors.
Oh.
Chicago, Phillies at Cubs, 138 days.
Wow. You're such a countdown guy.
Yeah, I became a big countdown guy now. It's nice to look forward to something.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, while we're counting down 42 days, do keep enjoying that countdown app.
It's nice.
Opening day roster really quickly to run through. For catchers, no surprise there, JT and Stubbies. Stubbies. Garrett Stubbs. All right, I'll stop giving people nicknames, whatever. You guys are dragging me enough about LeBron and about my center fielder ranking, so let me do something that won't have you upset. First baseman, just Bryce Harper. Second baseman, Bryson Stott. Third baseman, Alec Bohm, and
these
Trey
are some bold
at shortstop.
takes by Zulli.
So these are super bold takes. I was reading, waiting for something that's a surprise. Outfielders, get this. Nick Castellanos, Brandon Marsh, Christian Pache, Yoro, and Jake Cave. Oh, man, spicy. DH, Kyle Schwarber. Bench/utility, Mr. Edmundo Sosa. And then starting pitchers, Nola, Wheeler, Ranger. I was going to come up with a nickname. That's why I had to pause. Sorry, guys. Nola, Wheeler, Ranger, Sanchez, and Walker. And then the relievers, Jose Alvarado, Connor Brogdon, Dylan Covey, Sir Anthony, Jeff, number 23, Hoffman, Orion Kirkering, Gregory Soto, and Matt Strom. So no surprises by any of those positions, but it was a reminder of just, what we can look forward to 42 days from now for opening day if the roster were to stay as is.
Yeah, I think Dylan Covey's now a lock after yesterday's McKinley Moore DFAing. He's now, dodged that bullet 5 or 6 times. So I think there's a really good chance Dylan Covey's on your opening day roster.
Yeah, we'll see if there are any other names that get added in to the mix. But for now, that's what we've got for opening day. All right. I've tried to put this off. I even told Jamie, I just feel like we have so many things to talk about today. We could have easily pushed Guess That Stands to another day because it's my favorite game ever. And so
It's
sad.
constant
But
we do daily.
man. All right. So
You're
let's
not
get into
escaping this.
Sadly, yesterday was tough.
Cody Clemens was
with
a tough
Cody,
one.
yes. I'm gonna start just coming into this with my guesses of a right and a lefty before I even see the picture for these number 10s.
I just gotta trust my gut. The gut
Tyler
is right more
claiming
often.
today is even more difficult than yesterday. So Don, Mopar,
More
MBBDF,
difficult than
hypothetical.
yesterday.
No, I don't know about more
Mickey, I
difficult.
hope-
The Phillies, and factually, he was a Philly. I mean,
Wait,
that's,
what? Is it the Fanatic? Like, what are you
No,
talking
I mean,
about? Factually, he was a Philly.
This guy was a Philly.
I
or
think you're
is
gonna
a
have
Philly.
to maybe. I don't like the sound of this. You might have to work with Chris to give him some people.
I mean,
It
yeah,
sounds
like, what's
scary.
happening here?
Not like you know this guy. It's just
Do we?
he's a guy.
Wait.
Oh, no.
You know this guy.
So he
I
was
think.
technically on the roster.
Sure. Here's your player.
Oh boy.
Oh no. Like, what does that even mean? I don't
All
understand.
right. There's a right arm guard.
Is that the right?
Is
or
that
the
a
left?
righty or a lefty? I
See,
saw
again,
lefty
is
first.
the right foot forward or the left foot forward? Is that left cheek or right cheek?
I think it's a righty.
See, I kind of feel like, okay, I could see righty.
It could be both, though. I see both.
It's not a
Tyler-
righty.
It's not a righty. Okay,
No, it's a lefty. It's a right arm. It's a right arm guard.
Wow.
Oh, it's
Oh my. And is that something on his right foot?
Yeah, it's probably a right foot guard too.
You say probably, but so I'm gonna take that as a yes.
lefty. Was it one of the guys you mentioned today in
No.
wearing a
surprisingly, it was
23?
not.
Dang
Okay.
it. Guys. Okay, so it is a lefty, everybody. That we have agreed on. That's all we've got. I feel like you can give us the decade. Sean Ortiz is guessing Derek Hall. I see Dave saying Milt Thompson. We did Bryce Harper
it's
already.
It's not going to be Milt Thompson. I promise you that.
Derek Hall's
No,
not a-
it's 2006.
This person does look large.
It does look large. 2006 to present day.
I'm not going to be able to. Yeah.
Oh man, Tyler, what decade was this?
I have a feeling it was last year's team.
Was he recently with the Phillies?
Yeah, it was sometime in the last 18 years.
Oh, okay, annoying.
Rod Barajas.
Was he?
I submitted. I'm
what?
just.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna come up with a random name again. Cause why not?
I mean, I don't know if you can ever beat Joe Thurston. That was complete bust out.
Because if you say it's gonna be this, if Tyler thinks it's this difficult, it's got to be someone we're not thinking of at all.
And John's got some good footage while you're delaying over there of
Joe
Aaron
Thurston.
Nolev's bullpen session.
Joe
today.
Thurston played 18 games for the Phillies.
Well, you also said this
18.
guy is someone that like technically. You know what? Maybe I'll go Joe with again. You're saying this guy technically played with the Phillies, but kind of didn't.
All right, Renee, you got 1 minute.
No, I don't like this. Okay.
I submitted.
I feel like it's a big guy.
Yeah, Jamie's answer is in.
What?
Spinning.
Yes.
What? Do you feel confident about your
I'd say 50-50.
answer? Okay, I'm gonna go with a random person again.
Because I
and
think this person is large.
I'm gonna go rando. Were you a lefty? Let me just double check to make sure you were a lefty. Okay, here's my person. Coming in hot. Oof.
Oh, by the way, follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Phillies. John's got some great bullpen and throwing session videos up there if you're thirsty for some spring training action.
Yeah.
All right,
tell
Renee,
them
it's 12
more.
o'clock. Let's
tell
go.
them more, Jamie.
Nope, it's 12 o'clock.
My computer's wonking.
We have a meeting.
Okay, wait. I'm texting you now.
Are you?
I am.
Are you going to the mall after school today?
I don't know.
All right. Renee's answer is in. Jamie's answer is in. You guys have differing answers.
Okay.
And you each named somebody who was mentioned in the chat. And quite frankly, guys, I think this guy's best career trajectory at this point is to probably go overseas and go play somewhere else because he's not a major league hitter. It is, in fact, Derek Hall.
Yeah. Who did you guess?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Jay Bruce.
Bruce.
moose. I mean, I'm just like, whatever. I don't know. This is fine. Everything's fine, guys. This is fine. All right. Well, that'll do it for us here. Thanks for tuning in and joining us. We had a lot of very meaningful conversation today. We learned a lot about each other and a lot about the GOATs and a lot about spring training and a lot about the Phillies and the future Phillies. And Derek Hall was our guest that stands. So there you have it, guys. Congratulations to those in the chat. I saw a number of people that said Derek Hall, Chris Miller. Jamie apparently got it right according to his celebration. Nice dance moves. Some others that said it. Definitely beefy boy, Derek Hall. Well, we'll be back tomorrow. We've got left fielders that will finally get a chance to rank. We'll also continue to update on the latest around spring training. John Foley will be joining us again. Mopar, yes, this game does suck. I've been saying that, but Jamie and Tyler enjoy it, so we play it every day. Well,
it doesn't suck, Mopar.
It does suck. It's so difficult.
It's hard. It makes you think.
There's so many names to choose from. But anyways, that's fine. This is fine. Everything's fine. Congrats to those that were victorious. Join us again tomorrow. 11 a.m. We'll be back live for PHLY Phillies podcast. Have a great rest of your Thursday. We've got some content coming your way soon on YouTube and Twitter, so stay tuned. We'll be dropping some hot off the presses content for you, not just out in spring training, but right here from your very own favorite trio. So for Tyler Zulli, Jamie Lynch, myself, Renee Washington, and our very own John Foley down in Clearwater, have a great Thursday. We'll see you back for more Friday, 11 a.m. Stay tuned.
We all silly like the mayor.